Temps, good win last weekend. Do you feel like the team's turned a corner?
Yeah, well, it always feels like that, I think, after a run of sort of poor results on the roads. It was nice to get 3 points and that kind of winning feeling back. Sometimes it feels like it's a million miles away. So it was nice. I think it sort of galvanised everybody. Yeah, it could be a turning point for us this season, you know, because the results haven't been great up until the weekend. So it was nice, and I just think the manner of it was also like added to the whole kind of like good feeling, I guess.
Yeah, the mental fortitude you must have been quite pleased with, considering what the team had to go against Canberra.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, look, I think it's something that we've been growing as a team. It's hard to sort of see that progress when the results aren't obviously saying like, oh, look, the team's growing in this area, but we keep losing. It's hard to kind of see that growth. But I do think that, especially since the Central Coast Mariners game, we've really sort of come together and felt that galvanised kind of like feeling within the group, and I think that's like been a strong point for us. And yeah, I think it was nice for them to kind of get that feeling back again at the weekend, and obviously the big moments with the penalty save and playing with 10 men and kind of feeling the injustice and all those things, and then you come out on top, and it feels good, and I think it just adds to that feeling.
Newcastle, I believe, this weekend. How crucial is that going to be?
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to kind of get to that prickly point of the season where like it's the run-in now, and we know we've got some challenges coming up in the next few games. So I think off the back of this win, it's important that we can go to Newcastle with confidence, and we can attack the game, and we can say we're coming here to try and win and really go for it, and yeah, see if we can break that snap on the away games.
And obviously you'll be without Riley Foster, but Brianna Edwards is a pretty good reserve keeper to come in, and
yeah,
she must be on a high after a penalty save.
Yeah, definitely. It was a great moment for her. Riley sort of afterwards in the team huddle sort of apologised for, I guess, getting sent off and the girls having to do a bit of extra running, and kind of gave Brie obviously the credit she deserves. So that was quite nice. It's that goalkeeper union. But right at the start of the season, we talked about having two keepers capable of being a number one, and I said right at the beginning that I felt we had the best goalkeeping duo in the league, and I think like for Brie to be able to come on, save a penalty, keep a clean sheet in that last kind of 35 minutes. Riley kept a clean sheet for the first 65 minutes. I think it just shows like the quality of goalkeepers. So, yep, we've got a lot of confidence in Brie, and the team has got confidence in Brie, so she'll be fine this weekend, of course.
Riley's ban was reduced to one game. How are you feeling about that afterwards now, once the week's settled? Yeah. I mean, look, obviously I still don't believe it was a red card, and I don't think it should have been a penalty, but the decisions are made. Yeah, like we've got people at the club that kind of go through the processes with the ALeague, so they've done that, and like they've come up with this conclusion. Whether the rules need to change, etc., that's really for other people to decide. We just have to accept, okay, that's the punishment, and yeah, I think it's probably fair that it's been downgraded in terms of the amount of weeks that she's been could have been suspended, and now just taking the one game. So yeah, we'll sort of take the punishment and move on. I mean, it's an opportunity for Brie. Could she potentially stake her claim back as the number one keeper for this team?
Yeah, of course. Like, I mean, I think this is the great thing about having that competition for places. It's a necessity for her to play, because right now Riley's suspended and can't compete for a spot this weekend. So it gives Brie an opportunity, and that's kind of how football works. Sometimes they come from injuries, sometimes suspension, sometimes form. It doesn't really matter how you get your chance. When you go in, you've got to take it.
Yeah. And just lastly from me, 6 football ferns are going to be in the squad to play in Samoa.
Yep.
Leaves you a bit short in midfield particularly.
Yes.
How are you going to manage that?
Look, we're sort of starting to kind of, I guess, formulate a few ideas, plans around what we do. We're not trying to kind of get too far ahead, because this weekend's the most important at the moment. So we need to get through this Newcastle game. Then we have kind of a decent build into that Western United game, like 2 weeks pretty much to build into it. So we've got 2 weeks to get out on the pitch. Some players might have to play in positions that they don't usually play, but we've got 2 weeks to work on that and kind of work into the game. So we're pretty confident confident that we can do what we need to do in terms of the work that's needed, but it's going to look like a different team than what people usually see for sure. But that's what we need, the strength and depth in the squad, and it's for some people it would be their chance to kind of step up and stake a claim. So yeah, you might find that we've got a lot of players playing with that intent of like they want to stay in the team and who haven't been getting as many minutes as they want. They've been very professional, all of them, and they're kind of what they're adding to the squad is really important because it just keeps pushing all the time. But this could be an opportunity for others, so it's exciting for some people.
A few questions from Phil Roller stuff as well. Mackenzie Barry, Michaela Foster missed out last week.
Yep.
Are they available this week?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
So that Hunt to play any restricted minutes? Or?
Yeah, possibly. Look, they both got through training this week really well. I think it's probably wise that we try to avoid both of them playing 90 minutes, just for them. It would just the same as any injury, really. Like you come back muscular, you just want to kind of like have that staging in terms of the rehab and the recovery. So yeah, I think it's unlikely they'll both play 90 minutes, but they're available to play, which is good for us. Yeah, have them back in.
Any concern about them going to Samoa and joining the Ferns?
Nah, look, I mean, I think the challenge obviously for the Ferns in Samoa is like these qualifying tournaments, like the games are like so thick and fast and they come so quickly, and it's every sort of 3 or 4 days as opposed to once a week. So it's a challenge for every player in the squad and for them to kind of manage all that. But that's kind of, you know, they've got all the experts in those roles and stuff. So like, yeah, I don't think it's like specifically any worries about Mac or Mickey. Providing they get through the game on Sunday well, they'll be kind of going in at 100%, so they should be fine, yeah.
And you touched on it a bit before, but has there been any chance of getting any of the 6 back for that game against Western United on the 18th?
No, I don't think so. Look, I think it would have to be even more of an extreme case for us to really kind of like pull someone back. I mean, it kind of works both ways, you know, like obviously we would love to have those football Ferns available for all the games, but they also want to go and help their country qualify, and they're looking to try and get into the squad for the Olympics this year, so it's big for them. So you don't really want that kind of like pulling of like, do I go back and have to play for my club, or do I stay here and do like? So I think it's better for the players and for everyone that it's like it's separated, and we know that we knew that was possibly going to happen. We didn't know potentially how many, but now we know it's 6, and like we have to deal with that, and we have to move forward. It's not the players' fault. It's not New Zealand football's fault. It's not our fault. It's OFC's fault. They put the tournament in a different date. So yeah, there's nothing we can really do about it. But look, as I said before, we've got a big squad, and we've got 2 more girls that made their debut at the weekend that have now played. So we're kind of like building underneath as well, and like it's now their opportunity in a few weeks' time when the Ferns are away to stand up and make a stake for the team. Yeah.
And the game's been moved from Maitland to Newcastle because of extreme heat concerns.
Yeah.
How is the team prepared for what's still going to be a very hot day in Newcastle?
We've been doing stuff in the heat chamber here for months now. All the away games are hotter than they are in New Zealand, but it sounds like it might be the worst of the heat in terms of, or the hottest conditions that we've played in so far this season. So that will be a challenge, but we'll have to manage that tactically. But we're doing everything we can away from that from a sports science perspective to prepare for the heat. As I say, they've been in that heat chamber for a good few months consistently now. So yeah, hopefully we'll see it pay off on the weekend.
Change the way you play?
It won't change the style of football, but it potentially changes kind of how you set up and defend at different moments in the game. If you want to get out and press people, it's very difficult to do that consistently in a 30-degree heat away from home as well. We've got to take that factor in with the travel. So yeah, it might just affect certain patches of the game in terms of how we manage through that, but that's something we have to kind of work on as a team and manage as we go. Really, we're not going to go in and say it's going to look like this. It's kind of one of those things where you have to see what it's like on the day and kind of get a feel for it, and the players need to guide that on the pitch, how they're feeling and what their energy is and what we can and can't do at certain times. So yeah, it's just kind of a game management thing.
Travelling a day earlier than usual for a road game, do you think that will help?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, obviously as we sort of said before, there's been that run of away games which have led to some poor results for us, or results that we didn't want. So yeah, changing things up a little bit, going an extra day early means we can travel today, get to Newcastle by tonight, and then we've got a whole day there. We'll have a training session and then we'll play, so we'll hopefully see some benefit of that, and yeah, if it gets us 3 points, it's well worth doing.